Any advice and information from this podcast is general only. It has been prepared without taking into account your individual circumstances and needs. Before acting on any advice from this podcast, you should assess and seek advice on whether it is appropriate for your needs, financial situation, and investment objectives.
Hi guys, welcome back to series 2 of, what are we called, Yannick?
We are now called, or have we always been called, Not Another Finance Podcast.
Yay.
Insert the groan. I can hear the crowds just going, oh, not another one. But this one's better than all the other ones. So that's why you should listen to it, but it's definitely out there. Welcome back, Jessie. How are you?
I'm good. And I have some news, Yannick.
I'm a little bit nervous, but send it.
I've been told by this wonderful young couple that called the other day that they listen to our podcast.
One of thousands. Well done. Did they give us a 5-star review?
They did, actually.
Unreal.
That
Hopefully,
is unreal.
Hopefully the hours of blabbering gave them a sort of a small insight and improvement on their life. Well done, Jessie. I think you should take the credit from that because I think all I did was sit here and twiddle my pen, but that's all right.
No.
That's cool. Awesome. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, so everyone out there, welcome back. As Jessie said, we sort of covered off on the property side of things for our last series, all the ins and outs, do's and don'ts, considerations of what it entails with real estate and buying property, whether you're just a homeowner or looking for an investment, etc. This time, through popular demand, we are going to be discussing
Investing.
Watch out. The hot topic on everyone's lips, especially at this time of recording, the last sort of few weeks have been really interesting in the investment sort of side of things, whether it's Australia or international. So we're going to dive deep into this, but we're pretty much going to call it like an investing 101. Is that sort of about right?
Yep.
Jessie will most likely definitely sort of cover off on the more technical things. I'll try and keep it basic as I just make sure I get my colours right with my crayon and all that kind of stuff. But essentially through popular demand, with a lot of the clients we see, a fair few of them, the conversation during our appointments sometimes comes round to investing. So it doesn't always have to be about insurance or budgeting or whatever. A lot of people really sort of want to build their knowledge base on investing. Why? What is it? What can it do for me? It looks great on Instagram. How do I get into it? Is it only for rich people? Is it only for people that wear suits and, are on the internet? Or, so that's sort of what we're going to duck into. Does that sound about right, Jessie?
Yep,
Are you excited?
I am excited.
All right. You look excited. I'm pretty excited.
Investing is fun.
It is, and it's a big part of our lives, whether you like it or not, whether you've, as basic as something as, the superannuation you have in the background is invested in other stuff versus just the normal savings account you might have, which is nothing wrong with it, but we're essentially we're going to debunk anything. We're just going to outline a heap of, starting with the basics and then working our way through. So hopefully we can cover a fair bit of content and give some people some really good insight when they listen to us for 20 or 30 minutes, which we appreciate for have we got hundreds or thousands of fans out there now?
I know of 2.
That's a win. Okay, for the 2 people out there, especially the couple that called the other day to chat to Jessie, thank you for letting us into your lives for 20 or 30 minutes. That we really appreciate it, and hopefully, well, no doubt, you got something out of it. Just a bit of a different spin on things. So we will go from there.
So, Yannick, what is investing and why do you think it's important? Because my thoughts are investing is good because you always want to keep up with inflation or keep your money going up with inflation rather than sticking it in a bank account. Of course, there can be good ways and you can leave it in a bank account. There are lots of ways where that's the best option. But why is investing so important, do you think?
Depends if you're asking me, Yannick as a 40-year-old. Good God, that just happened. Or, whether you're talking to an 18 or a 20-year-old or a 30-year-old, it's a very subjective sort of matter. But look, you pretty much hit the nail on the head with a lot of those things. A lot of people, when they ask us about investing, my big question is the why before we sort of deep dive into it. and the why being, why do you want to invest, or why do you want to learn about investing? And as you mentioned, is it to make your money work a lot harder? As we know, it's great having your money, let's just say, in a savings account. There's essentially nothing wrong with it, but it's only there to sort of be just a little bit above sort of inflation. And I guess on the investment side, we're looking to grow. I guess on the investment side, look, there's a couple of ways you can think about it. There's definitely the financial side, and then there's definitely the personal side. I guess from the mentoring I've had and the education I've sort of read into, whether you're sort of growing as a person, it's about either investing in yourself, which helps you sort of in the long run, whether it's professional or skills or knowledge or whatever. But on the financial side, it's investing in, I guess, assets that are going to provide a bit more income or a bit more growth, or help you build towards a semi-retirement age, or build wealth for your children if you want them to inherit something. Or there's some buzzwords out there like the FIRE, which is kind of the financially independent, retire early kind of, not say it's a cult, it's just a mindset, which is nothing sort of wrong with it. We've met a few people like that through our clients. Yeah. What about yourself, Jessie? How do you sort of see investing? Like, why?
I like investing because it can give me more financial freedom. My goal personally, if I can share, is to retire early or semi-retire early. So using investing in the long term to semi-retire.
Define retire. Like, is that, a few people have asked me, well, hey, I can't really retire until 60 or 67. Is that right? Like, is that the hard line?
So you can access your superannuation tax-free from 60. If you don't have a huge amount in super, you can, depending on your income and assets, then you can access the age pension from 67.
Pretty much,
through Centrelink, yeah. But, no, you go.
Is there a hard age on retirement? What is this retirement buzzword? Like, is there the government says I can't retire till 67. It's not entirely true, is it?
No. It all depends, I guess, on your circumstances, how much you have in superannuation. I guess the key milestone is 60 when you can access your superannuation.
Okay. Yep.
But it depends how much you want to withdraw from your superannuation and retirement, or how much you want to rely on from the age pension from Centrelink from 67.
Yeah, okay. And I think super's something we'll definitely get in the future, because it's a massive sort of focal point with a lot of, whether it's individuals or couples that we see, whether they have a business or they're just a normal employee, mum and dad. But I guess for a lot of people we ask, why do you want to invest? And I suppose you just outline your goal is to retire early, so I presume before age 60.
Yeah.
So I thought you were retired now, because I only see you in the office probably like once a week while everyone else is nose to the laptop 6 days a week, and Jessie just strolls in or laughs and giggles, I don't know, whether it's Tuesday or Wednesday. Does that mean like, I don't want to dig into what your assets are on the side, but I dare say something's paying on the side to only work half a day a week.
I wish, hey.
Yeah, but that's essentially it. For some people, they want to, when we go down the rabbit hole of investing, they're like, well, I want to build up my assets and my passive income so that at 30, 40, 50, I can pay myself, I'll have another passive income on the side that lets me or gives me financial independence to reduce my workload or spend more time with my kids or travel more. It means they've built those other assets through investing that is now sort of reaping the rewards down the track, and it gives them a bit more financial independence. Is that what you're looking at doing?
That's the dream. That's my goal, yes.
Maybe as a financial advisor, I should think of something like this. Yeah.
I'm sure you're already on it, Yannick.
Give or take, yes. We're on there. Okay. And why do you feel, so that's sort of the investing side. Are there any other things you've found with people? Why do they invest? Like with the clients you see, are there sort of some main reasons why they invest or want to invest?
Young families, I find especially, are keen to invest to give something to their children.
Okay.
Maybe, when they turn 18, some of them wanted to, give something when they're 30, when they're a bit more mature. But say if they turn 18, they want to, pay for their university degree or their
okay.
first car, just
Yeah,
something
yeah,
really
yeah.
special. So they say, I want to put $100 a week aside.
Yep.
Different amounts for each kid, depending who's the favorite. Just joking, that never happens.
Most people, I have a favourite, but we won't talk about that.
But yeah, I find that's another big one. Those are the two big ones. People are
Okay.
keen to retire or semi-retire early, or they want to leave some generational wealth for their children. Yeah.
And is that sometimes going back to that sort of retire bit, is that something you usually ask clients during an appointment, like when they talk about investment and we go back to the why of investing, is that something you sort of tick off like, well, look, do you want to retire before age 60, after age 60? Do you want to retire at 40? Like, is that sort of something you kind of tick off and then work from there?
Yeah, I think a lot of people come in saying they want to invest, but they don't really understand or have a goal as to why. So I think it's really important to set goals and then you can work backwards from there. Yeah. You find that too?
Yes. I seem to find the clients that just go, hey, see this couple on Instagram, I want to be like them. And I don't know, they're driving around in Porsches and they're having holidays in Dubai. Yuck. No, that's a joke. It is very subjective.
How horrible.
And, you know, yeah, it's everyone's sort of got their different goals, but the why is the big question, because that sort of ties in, I guess, the psychology of the investing, your short-term goals, your long-term goals, because investing isn't just, I guess, this easy, hey, sweet, I'm just going to put money here every week, every fortnight, I'm going to invest in, I don't know, real estate or shares or whatever. We'll get to that in a sec. There's the psychology of it as well. And there's a heap of books out there. There's a heap of knowledge on the internet and information as well. Some good, some not so good. But that's sort of why, yeah, no, fair enough. Like, but I guess the other one we find with some people with investing is that it seems everyone's got a story, as we know, but sometimes with investing, as soon as you sort of might talk about real estate or shares or investing outside of, like a savings account, it gets a few people might have had like a story where their grandma or uncle or best friend lost all their money in the GFC, or COVID wiped out 40% of their super, or plummeted real estate prices. Is that that sort of ties into it?
Yeah. We get a lot of those stories. Hey, I think people have a chat around the barbecue and, oh, I invested in shares. They sound so risky because someone lost, so-and-so amount on the stock market, or, crypto sounds cool. Should I be investing in this?
Volatility. I think I'm on my third heart transplant just talking about volatility-wise. It's a story for another time as well. But, yeah, no, you're right. It is, and I definitely remember, not to go sort of too deep into it, but growing up, investment was a bit of this sort of, there was the hard work ethos, but investment, especially, say, whether it was real estate or shares, was, fraught with danger. Make sure you're careful. Remember, like my grandmother, shout out to grand-mère, when she came to Australia, she invested some money in a private, I guess, like equity firm way back, I think, in the 70s or 80s, and lost a bit. And those stories can resonate with people. Like, oh, I remember Uncle Bill and, Uncle Marge and, it's Uncle Homer and Auntie Marge. They had a heap of money in shares, or their super was invested in a bit more aggressive sort of assets. GFC happened, and next their super's worth 40% less, and they were looking at retiring soon, and now they can't. So there's all those things. There's all, I guess, these little taboo points that you can resonate with, or you find with, trusted people, whether your family or your close friends. So it's something we sort of debunk during our appointments as well, isn't it?
Yeah. And can I ask you a question, Yannick? Because what's your advice to people where they hear these things at barbecues and they're interested or scared? Like, what's your advice on how to kind of move forward?
Without getting them to lay down on our appointment couch and talk through it. No, look, it's sometimes it can't be covered in like an hour and a half. Sometimes it takes just a few conversations to sort of work through it, because it's not that sort of easy. But again, it sort of comes back to the why, and just getting to know whether it's a couple or a single person as a client, to find out what their goals are, the why on investment, and that will then sort of lead to the advice we might give them on. Because essentially, look, when we talk about investment, which we'll get into in a sec, whether it's government bonds, shares, ETFs, real estate, there will be periods of volatility. As we're kind of seeing now in the markets the last couple of weeks, we've had a heap of emails and phone calls regarding, the ASX has dropped, the American share markets have taken a bit of a slap as Trump does his thing. And we're finding some people, even though they're happy to experience the long-term gains on certain investments, this short-term volatility definitely gets their heart rate up.
Yeah.
I guess the good news is that's why we're there as financial advisors, just to hold their hand a little bit.
Yeah.
And I guess that's just part of the coaching part of people with finance, is just nursing them through these bits. And it comes back to the why. You're definitely going to feel it if you're looking for the Instagram worthy wealthy overnight kind of thing, which some people it works really well for, but I guess, for a few more of our clients, it's more in the long term and kind of getting them through that.
And even when you hear those things at a barbecue or, see on the Instagram live, what these people are doing, I think it's really good to do your research and understand what they're selling or what they're telling you about, so you have a bit more of an informed idea on what you're investing in.
Yeah, there's so many options out there, especially with the age of the internet, which has been around for a while. Sorry, I'm showing my age, but like you can Google search, how do I start investing? And you'll get every website trying to grab your click to go to their website. There's a heap of private fund managers, big corporations, investment firms, dodgy Nigerian prince scams. Everything is on the interweb trying to grab your attention to get your money to invest in them. Yes. So I guess that, that's another sort of side note, but and we'll sort of work through those over the next sort of few podcasts just to help people out or talk them through them. By all means, we might even spend a whole podcast on the Nigerian prince scheme. Nah.
Oh, that sounds fun.
You make lots of money. No. Yeah. Okay. So, and I guess with investment, just to cover off, look, we talked about the psychological side, but I guess investment is what other assets are we talking about with investment? Like, what does it mean? We've talked about, money in a super secure savings account, but what other investment types are there out there, Jessie?
So I guess the main one people come to us to is investment properties, which we've touched on in our previous series.
We did.
Yes, we've done that.
We did, yes. Okay.
I think that one, people feel most comfortable doing that one because a lot of people seem to have a good mindset about it, but going into, maybe do your research or talk to a financial advisor or mortgage broker and see, is it actually going to give you a good return, making sure if there's growth or that type of thing. And then you've got shares, which a lot of people, like you said previously, might feel like it's a bit risky.
Yep.
But there's different types of shares you can invest in. Things like
like direct companies? Yeah. Okay.
Yep. ETFs. Exchange traded funds. Maybe we'll go into what are the difference between ETFs and mutual funds.
Okay.
Bonds as well.
Yep. And that's sort of like your treasury, government bonds, there's corporate bonds. So you're saying there's as we mentioned before, there's a heap of investment options out there available to everyone. And I guess we'll sort of go through and highlight the key factors of each, because it's not sort of one case fits all or one size fits all. It's, everyone's got their, again, why, goals, age demographic, psychology, and that all kind of fits into the options they might be.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about crypto.
Do we put crypto in there?
That's the type of one. Okay, no, fair enough. So we'll get to those over the sort of coming episodes, and I guess we'll cover off on a few things as well. The risk versus reward, because obviously there are some investments that carry a little bit more risk, whether it's short term or long term, or we like to call it volatility. As we've seen the last few weeks, the share markets have been a bit volatile, which has raised a sweat on some of our clients, but that's okay.
Yep.
I guess full disclosure, we openly give some hugs to some of our clients if they just come on in and fits the
family.
Yep, done. I think I have to do all the hugging, but that's right. It's part of the job description, but that's okay. Everything will be okay.
Designated hugger.
Yeah, we'll sort of get into, like, is it hard to invest? It sounds like, is it just for people that have a heap of money, this investment thing? Like, it depends on how you grew up. But like, is that how it works? Do you have to have a heap swag of cash to go, I'm going to invest in?
Not necessarily.
Oh,
I don't think.
Yep.
No. Yep.
Yeah. So we'll sort of get into that. It can be for essentially anyone and everyone. I guess going back to kind of their goals and their why.
Yeah.
Yeah, you sort of touched on, another reason why was like the wealth of children sort of side of things. We're going to go through the other parts of investing. So it's great. You might be making a heap of capital growth through your different assets that you've invested in, but we'll sort of talk about what the tax obligations are. What tax? No one wants to talk about tax.
Boo.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, it's a real thing in Australia. We do pay it, but I guess we might work around how different structures can sort of help you out, mitigate a little bit of the tax you pay. Whether it's the timing of when you invest, when you sell your investments, it all sort of fits into your big financial picture, financial goal, and I guess that's why we're here. But I guess the main part of our intro is making sure, yes, we're going to go through everything, but asking yourself the why. Why do you want to invest? Did you hear it? It was a sexy word you saw on the internet. You might have chatted to a mate or a family friend. Hey, have you got any investments on the side yet? Or, so making sure the why is probably the big one. And you can ask yourself that, there's thousands of listeners are probably in their car or they've got their earpods in to drown out the kids in the background. They're like, what is my why on investment?
I'm ready to retire.
Yeah. Or, Jessie's, I think, and Jessie didn't really disclose it, but she wants to go from like 1 day a week to maybe a quarter of a day a week at work. Just that's why she invests a heap now. But yeah, so that's sort of the intro done on that one, Jessie. And I guess for our listeners, over the next few episodes, we'll cover a heap more of what different types of investments are, what they entail, the psychology of it. We'll talk about some alternative sort of investments, the ones that are a bit left field, whether it's, buying gold or crypto or whiskey barrels. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into it.
Okay. All right. We'll see you for that one, Jessie.
Bye, guys.